I'm calling us to order. We've taken attendance, yes? Terrific. I am calling for a motion for closed session for discussion of labor negotiations and discussion of real estate.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. That was Molly. This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Hyman?
Yes.
Trustee Leha?
Yes.
Trustee Moore?
Yes.
Trustee Solomon?
Yes.
Trustee Trudeau?
Yes.
Looks like the motion passes, so we will recess to closed session and we'll reconvene here for all the members of the public at 7 p.m.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! Today is the day I get to go camping! Gotta get Toby. Toby? No. Toby? No. Toby? Ah, there you are.
Oh, hey Otto, you ready to go?
I certainly am, Toby. Do you have everything packed?
I have everything except your to-go bag. Do you have that?
Yep, I put it by the front door. I've got my clothes and my fishing pole and my hat. I'm all set to see the great state of Michigan.
All right, seems like we're almost ready to go. There's one more thing to do. We've got to call Lucy and make sure she's got everything she needs to host the show.
I'm on it.
Is that the phone? Hello?
Hi, Lucy. Oh boy, am I excited. Me and Toby are going camping today.
Oh, I'm glad you're finally getting to go, Otto.
Thanks, Lucy. And do you have everything you need to host the show?
I sure do. As a matter of fact, I was just reading a book about Michigan.
Glad to know you're prepared, although I didn't expect anything else. I hope you have fun hosting the show. Bye!
It's a Saturday show. 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 It's a Saturday show.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Saturday Show. Was that my doorbell? Hold on a second. I better get that. Hello? Hello? You're a flamingo. In Michigan.
I'm Clarissa. I left my home in the Caribbean 5 days ago.
The Caribbean? That's quite a distance. You want to come in? So it sounds like you flew from a very great distance to get here.
I, as a flamingo, can fly over 350 miles at one time. I stopped here today because I saw all this water from up above. What is this place?
Well, this is Michigan.
Michigan? Tell me all about it. Food, water sources, culture?
Well, Clarissa, I'm not from Michigan either. But you know, I have an idea about who we could ask. I bet that the Saturday Show friends could help us out. What is it that you want to know?
Absolutely everything.
Well, we'll start with my friends Kashi and Christopher, who will tell us the word of the day.
Word of the day? How quaint.
Marco!
Polo!
Marco!
Polo!
Marco!
Polo!
Hey, Kashi, there you are.
Oh, hi, you found me.
I did, and look who else I found.
Oh, hi, Lexi.
It's Lexi. You know, Kashi, we're filming on location today. Location in Michigan. Because
Oh.
this episode is all about Michigan.
Where are we?
Well, we're at the Peony Garden in Ann Arbor on the campus of the University of Michigan, and the peonies are just about to pop.
Oh, wait, so we're in a garden full
We-
of flowers called peonies?
That's right, and they're going to be so beautiful. I just love it here. Are you ready for our word of the day?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to Lexi and see what she's got for us. Well, let's see what it says. Can you read this, Kashi?
It says pawpaw.
That's right, it does say pawpaw.
What's a pawpaw?
Well, a pawpaw is a delicious fruit. You have to wait until it gets a little bit soft. And it's also a city in southwest Michigan.
Oh,
And are you ready for the summer game code?
I am.
Okay, here it is. It's 9 letters.
Wow.
And it means a piece of land that's surrounded on 3 sides by water.
Oh,
And Michigan is very famous for it.
I
For
see.
both of them.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you think you know the answer, you can go to play.aadl.org for...
Big point.
That's right. Until next time, happy Michigan.
Marco.
Polo!
So, Michigan is very large. Was there something specific that you wanted to learn about?
Did you know that the beautiful color of my feathers comes in large part from what I eat? I am very curious to know what kind of foodstuffs are grown locally so that I may think about enhancing my brilliant plumage. Perhaps some rich-hued fruit?
Michigan does have a rich history of food and agriculture. Let's check in with a shark to learn more about this.
Hey, it's a shark, wandering around Michigan, trying to find some snacks for Clarissa. Let's take a look at the ground to see if there's any shrimp or fish to munch on. What's this? A tiny dolphin brain?
No, a shark. That's what humans call an apple.
Thanks, Farmer Pete, whoever you are. And do humans often eat them?
Well, sure. Have a bite.
Yum, that was delicious. And where does such a apple come from? Are there more?
Why, sure there are, a shark. In this special part of West Michigan, we're surrounded by apple trees. They grow easily in this fertile area called the Fruit Ridge.
Wow. So, are you telling me that the Fruit Ridge was formed millions of years ago when glaciers pushed the land into gentle rolling hills, leaving behind clay loam soils with superior moisture holding qualities? And because of its proximity to Lake Michigan, provides a unique climate that is ideal for growing fruit and vegetables?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
What a fruity wonderland, Farmer Pete. Well, Clarissa, it's an all-you-can-eat apple buffet over here on West Michigan's Fruit Ridge.
How wonderful! So many different types of apples to give a boost to my chromatic feathers.
Is your curiosity being satisfied so far?
Well, you've scratched the surface, but I'd like to know more.
Do you like guessing games?
What is it? This delectable-looking dish is a favorite of many Michiganders. We start with a steamed hot dog bun and add a grilled hot dog, some Detroit-style chili, remember kids, no beans, and then top it all off with a greasy helping of yellow mustard and chopped onions. Use a fork if you want, but if you don't, make sure to have plenty of napkins on hand. Bon appetit!
That concoction is confounding, dear. But anyway, did you know that my fellow flamingos and I are wading birds? In fact, it was the very sight of all that water that caused me to alight here in Michigan. What can you tell me about this abundance of water?
You know, Clarissa, I'm pretty sure that Lauren is in the water right now. I think he'd be the perfect person to tell us more.
Wow, it's a beautiful day out on the river today, Hazel.
Absolutely. We're so lucky to have the Huron River running right through Ann Arbor.
We really are. It's so fun to paddle the rapids near Argo Park and then just float on down the river here to Gallup.
The air is fresh, the scenery is pretty, and if you keep your eyes out, there's plenty of wildlife to spot.
Like muskrats.
I'm glad you remembered them, Lauren. Also many feathered friends like sandhill cranes, great egrets, and barred owls. And here at Gallup, there are swans, mallard ducks, and Canada geese. And I don't know if you've noticed, but you can also find another species here at Gallup Park today. Human beings, like you, Lauren.
Yep. What have you observed about us humans, Hazel?
Well, they can be messy at their picnics. Luckily, we squirrels are around to remind them to be tidy.
Thank you for that, Hazel. Okay, back to the water. Here in Michigan, we're lucky to be surrounded by great bodies of water as well as have lots of water inland. You probably know the names of our 5 Great Lakes.
Yes, that's easy. The acronym HOMES helps me remember them. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior.
That's right. Here's a tricky question. Which of the Great Lakes does our Huron River empty into?
Yes, that is a tricky one. It's Lake Erie.
Correct as usual. Okay, Hazel, do you know which Great Lake doesn't border the state of Michigan?
I've studied my geography. That's Lake Ontario.
Correct again. Besides the Great Lakes that are bordering us, Michigan has more than 26,000 inland lakes and more than 120 major rivers flowing through it.
Of course, we have to mention Tequamanon River Falls, Michigan's largest waterfalls, and the emerald waters of Kitchity-Kippy, Michigan's largest freshwater spring. Both are in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Cool! Meanwhile, down here in southeast Michigan, I'm getting hungry. Let's head for shore.
Okay, let's paddle on.
Splendid! I'll have no trouble at all finding a lagoon or two wonder how Michigan came to have such a wealth of water.
The answer to that, Clarissa, lies in the deep and distant past.
Boy, Toby, it's so beautiful out here. I'm so glad we got a chance to go camping.
Me too, Otto. I'm really enjoying relaxing out here. I love hearing the birds and other animals walking around.
Toby, what's that? I hear something rustling in the bushes over there.
I don't know. What do you think it is?
Hey guys.
It's Brian. Hey Brian, what are you doing out here?
I was just looking for a good sit spot to watch some birds. Looks like you guys found a good one.
Thanks for joining us at the campfire, Brian.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Hey Brian, do you have any spooky stories or chilling tales you could tell us?
Chilling tale, huh? Yeah, I know a chilling tale. And it happened right in this very spot. Ish. Do you want to hear it?
Ooh, you bet I do, Brian. Go ahead.
All right.
Once upon a time, in a distant geologic epoch known as the Ice Age, all of this land was covered for millions of square miles around by an enormous stretch of glacial ice, what we call the Laurentide Ice Sheet. Over the course of some 2.5 million years, this massive continental glacier carved and sculpted much of the features and geology of the lands we know today as Canada and the northern United States, including right here in the land of Michigan. Its advances and retreats gave this land its famous shape, determined the composition of many of our soils, and excavated the Great Lakes basins, as well as thousands of other smaller lakes and waterways that this region is known for. Later in this era, megafauna like the mastodon and the woolly mammoth roam these lands, and their fossilized remains can still be found buried in the earth around these parts. In fact, in the fall of 2015, a local Chelsea farmer found the bones of a woolly mammoth in his fields just 10 miles southeast of Ann Arbor. It's thought that the remnants of this colossal ice retreated from the Lake Superior Basin only some 10,000 years ago. That's a long, long time for human beings and turtles, but in Earth time, that ain't nothing. And remnants of the ancient Laurentide can still be found to this very day in the glaciers on Baffin Island, high in the Canadian Arctic.
Oh boy, Brian, that tale of the glaciers made me chilly just hearing it. Toby, do you think we can start a campfire?
Absolutely, bud. I'll get right on it.
Campfire, huh? Oh, that reminds me. I got something.
Oh, what did you bring with you, Brian? A fossil or something else really cool?
Well, it's just an old marshmallow I've been carrying around with me. It's kind of fossilized.
No matter. Get a stick and throw that thing on the fire.
How chilling! Well, now that we have the essentials covered, I'd love to learn more about what makes Michigan special. Little trinkets of information that tell me more about the culture.
It's a collie dog.
Not exactly what what I had in mind. I was thinking more about cultural details. I just like to glean as much factual knowledge about a place as I can. Oh, my thirst for knowledge is prodigious.
It does sound like you know your way around a thesaurus. Speaking of learning from books.
Hey, Katie, check out this cool book all about Michigan.
I love Michigan. That's where we live.
Look, there's a whole section on Michigan state symbols.
Wow, there's so many of them.
Yeah, but it's almost lunchtime, so maybe we should just read about some of them for now.
Good idea, George. Let's start here with the robin. The rabbit is Michigan state bird.
It has been the state bird since 1931. Hey, how about this other animal? Michigan state reptile is the painted turtle.
I bet Otto loves this symbol.
Yeah, we should ask him about it later.
Okay, here, look. Michigan state fish, the brook trout.
They can only live in cool, clean water and can be found in many of Michigan's lakes, rivers, and streams.
Whoa! Look at this pretty rock.
Oh, I know that one. That's the Podolsky Stone, Michigan State Stone. A Podolsky is a fossil colonial coral. These corals live in warm, shallow seas that covered Michigan during Devonian time, some 350 million years ago.
Wow! Podolsky stones are easily found on the beaches and inland streams of northern Michigan.
Look, Michigan's first official state symbol was the apple blossom, designated as the official state flower in 1897. Michigan is known for their production of apples, and Papyrus coronaria bloom on crabapple trees every spring.
That sure is a pretty flower. And now I'm even more hungry.
Me too. I hope we have apples. Let's read one more page and then eat. Hey, Katie. See, Queris Peninsulam Omanam Circumspice.
What?
It's the state motto in Latin.
I don't know Latin. Here, let's read it the other way.
If you seek a pleasant peninsula,
look about you.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, Katie, how about this one? If you seek lunch, look in the kitchen.
Ha! You're funny. Okay, let's go find some apples.
Michigan seems like it could be a nice place to stay for a while. I'm especially enjoying these comfortable environs. When I was flying over it, Michigan seemed to be so big.
It is pretty big. Only 10 of the 50 states are bigger than Michigan in area. Another reason why it might look so big from above is that it's made up of 2 peninsulas separated by the Straits of Mackinac. It's the only state that's made of 2 peninsulas.
2 peninsulas? Straits? Well, how fortunate that I can fly great distances so that I might easily get from one peninsula to the other. I do wonder how humans are able to make this crossing.
Who can we ask? I know. Let's check in with Allison. I bet she could answer this question.
Hey, Clarissa. That's a really good question. Let's take a closer look.
Michigan is the only state in the U.S. that is made up of 2 peninsulas, or pieces of land that are almost entirely surrounded by water. We call ours the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula, and the 4-mile-long stretch of water between them are called the Straits of Mackinac. That's where our story takes place.
It used to be incredibly hard to cross the Straits of Mackinac to get from one peninsula to the other. And in the 19th century, this area became a very important transport hub due to the exploitation of natural resources and an increase in tourism.
But in 1923, the State Highway Department started ferry service. These large boats carried people, cars, and goods from one place to another. During the winter, the Straits of Mackinac freeze over. Railroad icebreakers were used during the cold months to break through massive ice flows.
The ferry service was really popular, and every year, more and more people wanted to use the ferry service. In 1955, the ferry carried over 900,000 vehicles.
The ferry service grew to be so popular that they quickly couldn't keep up with demand. Traffic backups could stretch as long as 16 miles.
It proved that if you provided a connection between the peninsulas, people would use it. And so, it was decided after many years of failed attempts that Michigan would build a 5-mile-long bridge to connect their peninsulas.
Building the Mackinac Bridge was a lot of hard work. But after more than 3 years of construction, the Mackinac Bridge finally opened on November 1st, 1957. And when it opened, ferry service between Mackinac City and St. Ignace ended. The Mackinac Bridge remains the longest suspension bridge with 2 towers between anchorages in the Western Hemisphere, and it's currently the 5th longest suspension bridge in the world. And in 2009, the Mighty Mac celebrated its 150 millionth vehicle crossing. The Mackinac Bridge is an iconic marvel of engineering and a mighty symbol of innovation that all Michiganders can be proud of. As then Governor G. Menon Williams stated at the opening day ceremony for the Mackinac Bridge, Michigan at last is to be one state geographically, economically, and culturally. Where nature divided us, we have bound ourselves together with this web of steel. This mighty bridge, the world's greatest, is a symbol of our strength.
Michigan is good. Michigan is grand. Michigan is shaped just like a mitten on your hand. Michigan is grand. Michigan is good. Michigan will love you back just like a great state should. And you can see all the apple trees, and you can feel all the Petoskies, and you can live the peninsula dream. Michigan is good. Michigan is grand. Michigan is shaped just like a mitten on your hand. Michigan is grand. Michigan is good. Michigan will love you back just like a great state should. And you can swim upon a great lake beach, and you can cross the mighty Mackinac Bridge, and you can live the peninsula dream. Michigan is good. Michigan is grand. Michigan is shaped just like a mitten on your hand. Michigan is grand. Michigan is good. Michigan will love you back just like a great state.
settles it. Do you have room for a pink feathered friend?
Are you asking to stay with me, Clarissa?
Well, I do need a place to stay, and your home is quite wonderful.
I think we can make room for you.
Marvelous! Now, what time is tea served? You can bring it to me in the tub. Where's the tub?
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed our Ode to Michigan. If you'd like more information, you can go to aadl.org/The Saturday Show. And if you'd like to drop us a line, you can send an email to tss@aadl.org. So, until next time,
I take that tea now.
keep on flying.
Day of the year, the official start of summer is here. Staying up late watching baseball games, watering the garden and hoping that it rains. The temperature here is about 89. Look at the barometer and watching it climb. Hanging with your friends at the park or the swap meet. Hot enough to fry an egg on the concrete. Find a log, hop on, sit in the sun all day. Or sit in the shade, sipping on some lemonade. Grab your pals and head to the pool. It's so hot, even cucumbers aren't cool. Garden salads and running through a slip and slide. Are you kidding me? It's even hotter inside. Open up the windows to let the breeze through. 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you. Summertime is my favorite time. Enjoying the sunshine, sitting outside. Summertime is my favorite time. Enjoying the sunshine and sitting outside. Summertime is really, really hot. Really, 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 really hot. Summertime is really, really hot. Really, 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 really hot. Summertime is my favorite time. Enjoying the sunshine, sitting outside. Summertime is my favorite time. Enjoying the sunshine and sitting outside. Summertime is really, really hot. Really, 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 really hot. Summertime is really, really hot. Did I say it was hot? It's really hot. Yeah, Toby, you said it was hot.
Summer. A little more. A little more. Perfect.
Toby, are you hot by any chance?
You know I am, Otto. I love summer, but some of these days can get real hot.
Oh, well, that's okay. Maybe we should just go inside and cool down.
I think that's a good idea, Otto. Let's go.
Toby, I thought it would be cooler in here.
Yeah, me too, but I guess not.
Nope.
Well, what should we do?
There's gotta be something we can do to cool off. Maybe we should go buy a fan.
That might help.
Well, whatever it is we do, we can't sit in the heat all day.
All right, Otto, why don't you grab your hat and we'll head out and search it cool.
All right.
You almost ready to go, Otto?
Yep, I'll be right there.
All right, I'm waiting outside.
We gotta get this guy cooled off.
Look, Otto, someone left a flyer on our door. There's a space heater sale down at the shop Drop and Roll. Should we get one?
Toby, no, that won't make us any less hot.
No, man, I was thinking like if we get a space heater and we get really hot, then we'll go all the way around from hot, hot, hot back to cold, right? Isn't that how refrigerators work?
I don't know about refrigerators, but in reality, that plan will never work.
Worth a shot. Let's keep going.
Hey Kashi, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Christopher. I'm fine.
I see you made a list here.
Oh, yeah.
It says my favorite things to do in the summer.
Yes,
Do you want to tell us about it?
I would love to. So, the first one is to go swimming. I love swimming. It's so cool in the summer.
So do I, Kashi.
And the second one is dig in the sand, which you can do at a beach, but you could even do it at a playground.
It's fun.
And the third one says drink lemonade. It's so delicious. And the fourth one is to go tubing, which is very special and fun, and it definitely keeps you cool.
And we're so lucky to have the Cascades right here in Ann Arbor.
Yes, we are. And the last one is read a book under a tree with a cool breeze coming by you. I just love that.
Kashi, you're cooling me down already.
Oh, good.
Well, listen, since we are talking all about summer, are we ready for our word of the day?
Sure.
Do you want to activate Lexi?
Okay. Mwah.
Well, let's see what it says. Can you read this, Kashi?
Oh, yeah, I know that one. It says parasol.
That's right. And a parasol is like an umbrella that we use to protect us from the sun.
Right.
Well, are you ready for the summer game code?
I am.
It's 5 letters.
Okay.
It has something to do with the sun.
Good.
And people often use this word when they're talking about power. Sometimes people say geothermal power or hydroelectric power. Well, this game code is power.
Oh.
And if you think you know the answer, you can go to play.aadl.org for... That's right. Until next time, keep cool.
Oh boy, look at all this water, Toby. I bet if we go swimming, we'll be able to cool off.
Good idea, Otto, and that might work for you, but I didn't bring a swimsuit.
You can't just...
No, I'm not going swimming in my underwear. I'll be red-faced from embarrassment.
Just a suggestion, big guy.
Oh well, let's keep going.
When my head overheats from too much theorizing, I like to divert myself with a little trip down the Cascades to cool off. Come on, I'll show you. A more mirthful afternoon I haven't spent in some time. So long. What is it? It's got numerical scales on both sides that don't match up, and a glass tube in the middle with a red dye. What is it?
Toby, let's hang out under those awnings. The shade will protect us from the sun. I'm sure that will cool us off a little bit.
Good idea, dude. Let's do it.
Toby, what is this place?
Oh, this is the Ann Arbor Farmers Market. All throughout the summer, farmers bring their fresh fruits and vegetables here to sell.
Oh man, a nice juicy ripe strawberry would definitely cool me off right now.
Well, too bad it's an off day.
If I was a farmer, I don't think I'd have any fruit to sell. I'd probably eat it all before I could bring it here. You know, Toby, I've always wondered what it's like to be a farmer.
Hello, Hazel here, in a field north of town with my two friends Angie and Mark, farmers who run Hindsight Farm.
Hey.
Hello.
So we squirrels are familiar with the idea of putting seeds in the ground. When do you do most of your planting?
Garlic is the first thing we plant. We plant it the previous fall. Potatoes we plant in the spring. And then other things like onions, tomatoes, and melons we plant in the summer.
Yeah, we start in the spring and keep planting pretty much into the summer and into the fall even.
Very cool. So it looks like things are beginning to grow.
That's right. It's early June, and things are off to a great start. June marks the beginning of the peak growing season. We've got lots of light and heat to get things off to a roaring start.
So Angie, what's growing right now?
So this is our garlic, and right about now it starts to send up a flower shoot that you can actually pick and eat. It's called a garlic scape. And that's it, and this is the part you eat. Here's some radishes ready to harvest.
Wow! And what will grow later in the summer?
Oh man, a lot of stuff. Tomatoes, watermelons, cucumbers, basil, all kinds of yummy stuff. So here are some baby watermelons that we just planted. We put them in the trays at the beginning of May, and we'll probably get melons sometime in August.
Last question. It's very hot in the summer, so how do you, as farmers, stay cool?
Well, we wear hats to protect our faces from the sun.
Yep, and after we're done working in the fields, we go swimming.
Ooh, that sounds fun! Thank you very much, Angie and Mark.
Thanks, Hazel, for coming to see the farm.
Yeah, thanks for coming to check it out.
Meanwhile, back in town, Lauren built space for a small garden in his backyard.
That's right, Hazel. Summer means fresh homegrown salad greens.
Lauren, where's your hat?
Oh, that's right, Hazel. Thanks.
At least we found some shade here, Toby. Do you think there's any books that'll teach us how to keep cool?
Maybe. We could figure out how other animals keep themselves cool and try to replicate that. I know you're cold-blooded, so don't you just find somewhere cold to sit?
Usually, although in the city there's not a lot of chilly spots in the middle of summer. And what about you, Toby? Don't you sweat to keep cool?
Yep, maybe a little too much.
Well, what about Teddy? He's a smart fella. I bet he knows how to keep cool.
Hi. As you might know, humans, like us, produce sweat when we become overheated. This is a very efficient mechanism by which the human body regulates its temperature when it's hot. We have sweat glands all over our our bodies, so that the cooling process takes place over a large surface area of the skin, which is great. What about dogs, though? Do they sweat in the same way? Toby and Otto wanted me to ask Teddy, so I did. Let me tell you what he said.
Whew, it's hot, and unlike you humans, we dogs have very few sweat glands. Most of mine are on the bottom of my feet. That's why I sometimes leave behind wet footprints on Lucy's clean floors. That's just me sweating. The rest of me is covered with this insulating coat that keeps me warm in the winter and cool in the summer, but doesn't allow my skin to perspire. Here's what I usually do. I pant like this. Dogs rely on panting to control most of our temperature regulation. When dogs pant, we evaporate moisture from our tongues, nasal passages, and the lining of our lungs, cooling ourselves as air passes over the moist tissue. I'm also exchanging the hot air in my lungs with cooler air. This usually works pretty well. But sometimes, when I get really hot, Lucy helps me out with a cool towel, some delicious crunchy ice cubes, or, if I'm lucky, a dip in the pool. Stay cool.
It's a thermometer. And the thermometer is telling us that it's very hot today. It's over 110 degrees Fahrenheit and over 40 degrees Celsius in the sun.
Oh, it sure is warm this morning.
It's a scorcher, all right.
It is so hot, you can call me a hot dog without the bun.
That's funny, George, but I'm almost too hot to live.
I am too hot to even think.
I kind of like it when it's hot because that means it's summer. And I love having fun and the good old summertime.
Katie, you always have such a positive attitude, and I really appreciate that. George, let's dry our sweat, drink some water, and join Katie in something fun and summery.
And cool?
And cool, and I think I know just the thing.
Oh? Is it ice cream? Or napping in the air conditioning?
Unfortunately, we don't have ice cream or air conditioning, but we do have all the right stuff to make our own ice pops. Yum! Let's head inside and get making.
We are making strawberry, orange, mango popsicles, and we have everything we need right here. We have a cup of strawberries, a cup of frozen thawed mango, a cup of orange juice, which we will actually cut in half, and I'm using a popsicle mold to make things easy, and a blender, and you know what that means. Ask a grown-up for help. Let's get blending. Last, it goes in the freezer for 4 hours.
Bada! I think they are ready! Come on!
Wow! Those look so yummy! As Big Fred says, bon appetit!
Toby, look at that sign. It says, "Want to get chili? This way." Should we check it out?
I'd love to be chilly right now, Otto. Let's go for it.
A shark? What are you doing here?
Ah, my first customers of the day.
We were looking for something chili. That's what the sign said.
Well, first of all, somebody needs to ring this bell. Welcome, gentlemen. It's time for chili.
A shark, are you sure selling hot chili on a hot day is the best business decision you can make?
Well, it's food, so...
Shark, if we wanted a bowl of chili right now, could we take a hot one to go?
You can have a can.
Shark, what makes it 6-alarm chili?
It's full of peppers and plankton and fire.
Any fish in there?
Of course, one large stingray.
Oh, do we have room for this, Toby?
I mean, I guess we can take it home once we cool down. We could eat some of this 6-alarm chili.
I see the can is lovely, but, you don't have a bowl of chili that I could take with me?
What more could you want than a nice, hot, steaming pile of chili in a can?
All right, will do.
Here, allow me. Well...
Thanks, Shark. I really hope your chili business works out.
Oh, it will be just fab.
Who serves chili on a hot day?
Well, he is a shark.
I guess so.
But Otto, that gives me an idea. If we eat something hot, like chili on a hot day, it'll make us even more warm, so maybe what we need to do is find something cold to eat. Like something sweet and creamy, and you can hold it in your hand, and it's delicious and cold, and when you eat it, you just feel so wonderfully refreshed.
Toby, I don't know what you're talking about, but at this point, I'm in.
Then let's go, bud.
When I feel sad and down on my luck, nothing is right and I'm feeling stuck. That's when I know no need to feel low. I hear the bells of the ice cream truck. Choice to be made when the truck stops. Strawberry shortcake or giant bun pop. Couple of quarters and my last buck. I hear the bells of the ice cream truck.
I have ice cream sandwiches and chocolatey eclairs.
Both will make me feel like I'm walking on air. If that doesn't sound good, maybe this sounds nice. Popsicles, fudgesicles, and lemon ice. Icy snow cone and even drumsticks. I can eat them real fast or just take a lick. Choco taco and even push up. I hear the bells of the ice cream truck.
Friday night took care of my weekday blues. I woke up, had breakfast, and read the news. I'm feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. But I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to do.
Hey, Toby, the show's about to start.
Oh yeah, It's a Saturday show. 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 It's a Saturday show.
No. Questions.
Hey, Otto, do you want to go to the library with me? Oh, hey, Toby. I don't think I have any books to pick up. Why are you going? I just need to pick up some story time supplies. Do you want to ride along? Sure. Can I see your office and pick out some picture books? Books, yes. Office, I guess so. Why would you want to see my office? I don't know. Isn't that where you spent most of your time before I got here? Kind of. I mean, when I was at the library. I didn't live there, though. Are you ready to go? Yep, I'll grab my book bag. And Toby, can you introduce the word of the day? Sure can, OT. Is everybody ready for Kashi and Christopher and the word of the day?
And so we were on the train for 3 days, and when we got to the end, they couldn't find our luggage. But in the end, they actually did, and so it was a great train trip.
Wow.
Did you like my story?
I really liked your story.
Does anybody have any questions?
Oh,
Christopher.
yeah. You know, I like trains.
Oh, so that's great, Christopher, but do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I had a pet goat when I was a little kid.
Oh, I like goats. But Christopher, do you have any questions about my story?
I like yellow.
Oh, so a question is when you ask me something about my story that you want to know more about. You want to try again?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I think I got it this time. When did your story take place?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. This was 2 years ago.
Wow, that's great. You know, we are talking all about questions in this issue.
We are.
Not an issue.
This isn't a book. It's not a magazine.
In this episode of the Saturday Show. Kashi, would you like to activate Lexi?
Oh, yes. Mwah.
Well, let's see what it says. Kashi, can you read this?
Well, I'm good at sounding things out. It says interrogative, but I don't know what that means.
That's right. Interrogative is another word for a question.
Oh.
That's right. Listen, are you ready for the summer game code?
Yay, summer!
Okay, here it is. It's 3 letters.
Wow.
That's not very many, Kashi.
No.
And it's a question word, but it's not a WH question word.
Oh.
So if you think you know the answer, you can go to play.aadl.org for... That's right. An exclamation. See you next time.
Bye.
Is this where you park, Toby?
Yeah, here we are. We're reconvening to our regular meeting and retaking attendance. All good? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor of approving the agenda, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right. Moving along, may I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion of the consent agenda? All right. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Any opposed? None. All right. That moves us on to citizens' comments. All right. Any online? Do we do that still?
We have not
remember.
received any.
Okay. Terrific. We'll have a chance for more citizens' comments at the end. Next, we move on to financial reports, and I'll hand it over to Eli.
Okay. All right, your financial report begins on page 16 with the check register. And if you'll turn to page 25 in the printed packet, just a couple of highlights. So our cash did decrease by about $1 million this month, which is what we would expect because we received most of our revenue for the year and now we're spending it. Our fund balance activity is very steady. You can see it increased from $5.95 million to $5.99 million. That's basically because we're running just about even versus our accrued revenue versus expenses. If you turn to page 26, one thing I wanted to mention is that when you look at the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes, you'll see a negative expense of $71,280 in the month of October. That's because we had incorrectly booked something to purchase services that should have been repairs and maintenance. And there was no other charges for that month. So it shows up as a negative because we moved something from one fund to the fund it should have been charged against. And then year to date, revenue exceeds expenses by $340,000 to $582. Our revenue, 32.96% of the approved budget, right about on normal because we are 33% of the way through the year. Current expenses are 31.2% of the approved budget. And our actual cash receipts are right about where we'd expect. So we're all in good shape as far as revenue goes. If you turn to page 28, looking at our revenue and expenditures, you can see we have already received more state penal fines than we would expect for this year. We'll see how that goes throughout the rest of the year. Also doing very well on grants and memorials, already received 117%. However, that is a budget of $5,000. So that's not a very large amount of money. Fines and fees are already at 105% of the budget for the year, and non-resident fees already at 53% of the budget. So those are things we budget for conservatively on the revenue side, and it's great to see them running ahead of that. Then if you look down on expenditure, anything that is above 33% is something we're running a little ahead of revenue. And you can see that is benefits mostly because of some upfront payments that happen at the beginning of the year. That's the case for most of these. Same thing with materials and software licenses. Those are both things that have some beginning of the year large upfront payments. And copier expense running a little bit ahead. That one might need an adjustment at the end of the year. Library programming, again, just because of early summer expensive events. And then repairs and maintenance running a little bit ahead, but that's also, again, something that is very spiky. But overall, total expenditures at 32%, right where we want to be 33% of the way through the year. And that's what puts us at our revenue under expenditures, or revenue over expenditures, $340,000 at this point. And that's where we're at financially. Any questions? Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Committee, starting with Scott for Budget and Finance.
Yeah, so we met on the 14th and had a long conversation with Yo and Yo about the audit report, which we'll be hearing about a little bit later on the agenda. I'm happy and pleased to report we have received a clean audit, so everything is perfect. There's no specific findings or suggestions for improvements. So exactly what we love to see. We learned a lot about various different accounting regulations and how they impacted the audit, like GASB 87, which we don't need to get into the details of, but we talked through how some of the line items are moving around and how we'll be tracking things to meet the always evolving accounting best standards. And then we also had a conversation. Is Eli now a good moment to talk about the future?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So we had a conversation about how we want to approach the next round of audits. And after having a conversation about whether to issue an open RFP or to continue to ask Yo&Yo to just submit a bid for the next round of audits, thinking through the fact that this audit was on our previous accounting system. Next year's audit is going to be on the new accounting system that we've transitioned over to. And we've also have a new director that's sticking with an auditor we've had a good experience with in recent years. Probably makes sense just to make sure we're apples to apples getting through the new processes and procedures, especially given that we're expecting the administration to adjust some of the purchasing policies like P cards and those sorts of things. So along with all of that will come changes and controls. So we feel like as the committee that we'd like to recommend going forward, asking Yo&Yo to go forward for another 2 years with the anticipation that after 2 years we will do an open RFP potentially to potentially bring in a different firm down the line. So was our recommendation. So if anybody has any questions or thoughts about that, happy to hear them.
Remind us again how long we've been with Yo&Yo.
This will be the fourth year, I
Fourth
believe,
year.
that we've had this.
That seems
Yeah.
right.
So, and that will require a board action, and we can do that in
Yeah.
January or February.
Great. Any additional questions? We'll hear about the audit in detail in just a moment. All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
I'll just mention that we did not have an executive committee meeting. We've had a change to the board. Dharma Ackman has resigned as a result of her successful bid to become a council member, and she was sworn in earlier this month and effectively resigned right then and there. In large part just to avoid any potential conflict of interest, either actual or perceived. So Dharma will be with us tonight so we can thank her for her service later. All right, moving right on. Library report, Eli?
Okay, and today Rich is going to deliver the library report.
Awesome. I'm glad someone else wore their AADL hoodie today.
Oh, wait till the end of this. Because I have.
Yay!
Well, you see a little spoiler there. So, thanks everybody. So it's been a great month. We're going to start with our stat of the month. So we launched our new newsletter. Hopefully you've received it in your inboxes June 9th. We've sent 28 of them so far, one this morning. So check your inboxes if you haven't seen it yet. I'm going to run through some stats to show you what are some of our stats of this month for the newsletter and how it's going. So I'll just do a couple of quick definitions. You're going to see open rate. That's the emails that are delivered divided by the emails opened by emails delivered. Your click-through rates, your unique clicks in an email divided by the total number of emails that are sent. So those would be our percentages. So our open rate is 23% right now. Our click-through rate is 2.06%. It's tricky to get industry averages. A lot of them are put out by MailChimp and like the people who want you to send newsletters, so maybe they're a little high. But newsletter averages are about 21% for open rates, roughly, and 2.62% for your click-through rates. So we're a little bit higher on the open, a little bit under with the click-through rates. But you'll see 28 newsletters is not a lot yet to get proper data, but you'll see some of what we've done with how we've compared to the past and some of the A/B testing we've done. You can see 12% increase in open rates for 2022 versus our all-time average for the newsletter, 31% 2022 versus 2021, 119% increase in our click-through rate, and 60% from 2022 to all time. So this is some of what I was talking about with A/B testing. So what we've done is we're looking at the content, and then we're looking at how we can tweak some of the things within. So we used to send these big long emails that had some events at the top, had some catalog staff picks, had some pulp stuff, had some archive stuff. It was a very long email that sort of captured everything. When we got our new account, we did the same thing a few times, found that the numbers weren't great, and we had a lot more option to do more design, a little bit more things to do. One of the things we did was A/B test for content here for our staff picks. So we used to have 2 blocks of 4 things each that you could have for different staff picks based on pop culture cooking or Native American Heritage Month. When we sent those, they were getting about 300 clicks to those areas. What we decided to do was to consolidate them into a blog post on the website. And so what we did was now, when you go to the reviews section, you'll click pop culture cooking, and there'll be 4 to 6 different things within that create content on the web, and now we drive you to a single image versus 4 separate things that were part of that. First time we did it, 400 clicks. Second time we did it, we had 1,500 clicks. And now it's its own newsletter sent twice a month. It gets 980, roughly, clicks per newsletter that we send for staff picks. And we have staff on hand who put those together. So we have 3 different staff members who put those together, and we send 4 different recommendations twice a month. So far, it's doing really well. The next one is doing some A/B testing for content within the newsletter. This is going to sound simple, but buttons versus little arrows. So we messed around with this a little to see, do people click more on the arrows, which have the text, or the pretty looking buttons? And I was team button. I thought the buttons would work. So far, they don't work. So 23% more clicks on the arrows versus the buttons in that first test. We tried it a couple more times, and it came back to the mean, but 8.2% more clicks on the arrows versus the buttons so far. And so this is that high-level A/B testing that we're doing in the communications and marketing department to see what's going to work. And so this is an example of something that seems small, but that we're trying to get more people to click on our content, not just see everything. Upcoming events. Tiny Expo, bookmarks over here, posters around town. Maybe you walked in and you saw the banners out on 5th. So it's December 10th at the library. It's going to be 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll also be hands-on arts and crafts for everybody to do in the Secret Lab. More than 40 artists and crafters. If you remember, we had to cancel at the last second last year, and all the vendors that were accepted were automatically renewed for this year. So they're all back, whoever wanted to come, and then starting again in 2023, we'll open it up to new vendors, have them in. We have the Music Noir concert, December 11th in the lobby. That is 1 p.m. on a Sunday. We've got the award-winning women-led Motor City String Quartet that incorporate all different musical elements from Spain, Africa, India, Middle East, as well as jazz, blues, funk. It's going to be awesome. That's coming on December 11th, 1 p.m. And then Whopper. You like robots. Washtenaw area, Pickup Robotics. It is from, I had it on here, 2 to 5 p.m., correct, Eli?
Yes.
Eli will be there, 2 to 5 p.m. at Parkland Plaza, 2-on-2. I hear there's going to be mops and buckets and robots pushing mops and buckets. It's going to be very exciting and a chance to see the space a little bit differently than I normally see it, which is where it's got a bunch of stuff in it. So that'll be fun. So join us Saturday, December 17th. It's not going to be here in the library, and it's not going to be at the Coliseum. So we're at Parkland Plaza. That'll be pretty cool. All right, we're very excited. It's Fifth Avenue Press. We have our fall, if you can believe it. It's going to be our fall book release. The first one we've had in a while. We've got 5 titles that are coming out. They're in the catalog right now. It's December 4th, Downtown Library. So we've got Ashley Edens and Nicole Ray. They are doing a series of books called the Ann Arbor Adventures. 2 of them are published now. So it's the Ann Arbor Adventures Natural History Museum and the Botanical Gardens. The idea behind this was to have a book that parents could use to kind of help prepare their kids to visit these places, if some of them might be a little overwhelming, or just prep them for that experience. So these two exist now. The Farmers Market and our own libraries are two upcoming projects that are in the same series. But these two are launching now. Skip the Stone, it's Emily Seawick. She did Monster on Main Street, which was one of the first books we ever did with the violin monster. She's back with Skip the Stone, about a Petoskey stone. It's very cute. My Unbelievable Life, Rebecca and Owen Wittekind. That's a really cute book. And then it's our first romance novel, Northern Woods by Amy Hepp. So peel the curtain back a little. I'm part of the Fifth Avenue press team. I got to read this one. It's pretty good. I'm not like a romance reader, but it's pretty good. The cover's awesome, designed in-house. So check it out. The Fifth Avenue Press book release December 4th. Our staff spotlight continues. I'm a huge fan of Louisa LaRoche. She is our tools clerk, runs a lot of the things. She's always down on the first floor downtown, processing all the tools, getting them out there. She's awesome to work with. 14 years at AADL. I get to ask staff spotlight people, what's the thing you wish people knew about you? And it's so cute what they tell me, and I like to smile and be happy, and I like to give a smile to everybody else. And that's Louisa. She's always smiling. She had her mask on, and I said, can I just do one without the mask? And so obviously she's smiling. Mention of the month. Matthew Deere, a ghostly artist, pretty decently, at least locally well known. I bumped into him at the Halloween puppet show, and I didn't know, I've never seen him in person. And I just saw this guy dressed like a Saturn rocket with a kid. You can't really see his shoes, but they're flames. He wore orange shoes that look like flames. The way he said it was that something got canceled at a school, and so they found out about the puppet show and they rushed down to be here. So best way to spend daytime Halloween is the Ann Arbor District Library annual Halloween puppet show. We even got to see the legendary Laura. Compliments of the month. Love that AADL refreshed a lot of the Westgate branch upholstery, colorful and comfy, from Lisa Campbell. And then we had a shelf service compliment from Tim Richards. I won't read the exact whole thing, but basically, skipping to the end, I know from many years of experience how wonderful it is when a staff member displays the initiative, goodwill, and great service that I had the privilege of receiving, getting a really cool shelf service request with some South African cookbooks. Christina McElroy, one of our staff members, put this one together, and she also put one together for me for horror books, which I was looking for, that was really well done. So shelf service has been an awesome service. Hopefully you've used it. And Tim Richards had sent this compliment towards AADL. Complaint of the month. I'll just read this one. Not entirely a complaint, but a curiosity question with a possible follow-up suggestion. I am wondering why AADL does not participate with Mel sharing of DVDs. I would strongly suggest a review of this policy. Recently, we moved here from Ipsy, where I could avail myself of titles through Mel, which I much appreciated. I know the answer, but I'm going to hand off to Eli to give you some of the particulars.
I responded to this question, and this was something that we looked at over the summer, because in order to borrow AV from the Melcat Network, you have to lend AV to the Melcat Network. Part of the challenge is that we have a lot of things here in our collection that don't exist in any other library in Michigan, so they would be under hot demand. But the bigger issue is that Melcat rules currently require every DVD that's loaned on the Melcat Network to be packaged individually in a bubble mailer. And our estimate is that it would take 3 to 4 new FTEs to be able to handle the volume. And only 5% of our patrons ever use Melcat at all. So it's a pretty hard sell, even though it opens up things that our patrons could get that they can't get currently. We really rather know what they're looking for so we can buy it and add it to the collection. Because it isn't really justifiable to add that much more capacity for a service that is not used by 95% of our patrons. So I explained that to him, and he said that he understood completely, and that's where we're at with that. But if they ever change that rule so that you don't have to, the DVDs are not precious anymore. And if they ever change rules so we don't have to package them individually, we could revisit this. But at present, it's not very realistic, operationally.
Finally. The Friends Apparel Sale. Shop closes December 4th. Okay. These are soft. The new ones are soft. So I suggest, and it's not going to say staff. I'm sorry, you have to work here. But wonderful hoodies and crew necks. They are not only a good way to get something for the holidays, but to support the Friends of the Ann Arbor District Library, our buddies. So check it out on the front page of AADL.org. There's a big poster by the Friends downtown. So get hoodies and crew necks for everybody that you care about or only like a little bit care about, and support the Friends. Does anybody have any questions about any of the things that we covered, particularly the newsletter? Excellent.
Are you able? Yes. Question.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long time since I've done analytics personally, but does the do you do any like heat mapping with HTML email, or is that only, can you only really do that on? I know that was like a thing where you, for a while, you could sort of just see like where people were, how people were navigating, kind of like a heat map.
In terms of where they're clicking on.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
other than like click-through rates.
I know which links they click, but I don't know, like I have to do all the work.
Yeah.
So we do know what items they're clicking per newsletter and how that sort of, we have different tags for banners versus text links. So you'll see the December one just got sent out, December events. Everyone has a banner that's tagged. When you click it, you'll see the little banner tag. When you click the text, it'll say text. And so we can compare banner versus text.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop doing one or the other, but that helps us in terms of what that all looks like. If you put, this is my strategic advice, if you put Zingerman's on something, like free Zingerman's food, that tends to be the one that gets clicked the most, whether it's a banner or a text link. That's my advice. But we do that to kind of tell where people are clicking and then try and see how far down they'll scroll.
Yeah, right.
So we've tightened our, if you were to compare a September events list to a December events list, we were like, hey, let's see what happens. And it didn't do great, and so we're tightening it up and tightening it up.
Yeah.
A couple of things I didn't cover, like we'll be doing more A/B testing for content presentation. We haven't found a big difference with day of the week or time sends yet. Again, we're only dealing with 27 plus today newsletters, so it's a little tough to figure that out.
Yeah.
They've all been pretty much the same. But something we've talked about for a while is segmentation. So getting people to opt into certain things to see if that makes them more likely. If you care about events, you get event stuff, and then we'll see how those clicks go versus sending everything to everyone.
Yeah, so right now it's everything to everyone all the time.
All the time. And we decide, so we've done little, like the Friends Sale got its own newsletter, Archives got a newsletter, Pulp got a newsletter, the Game Over Gala got its own newsletter. So we have these little ones that go off, plus your sort of recurring monthly events or staff picks or things like that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. All right. Now we move to the audit.
And joining us this afternoon is Alan Panter from Yo and Yo. Thank you for being here, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you. Good evening. As Eli said, my name is Alan Panter. I'm a partner at Yo and Yo. I'm here to present the audit. I just want to start off by saying that this is my first year presenting to the Ann Arbor District Library, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. We had a change in audit principals this year. The previous audit principal, Dave Youngstrom, he's now our CEO. So what happens when that happens is we shift the clients around a little bit. I've been doing governmental audits for an awful long time, and I have a little bit of a niche in public libraries as well. So I do several public libraries. So hopefully we'll get through this okay. I also want to tell you that I see that on your agenda you've got 30 minutes down for me. I'm not going to come anywhere near that. so you get that going for you. The materials that you have that I passed out a little while ago was the bound audited financial statements, the stapled governance letter, and my presentation, which is bound for you, and you'll see it up on the screen as well. So the audit went very well. The library was well prepared for the audit, and we were able to complete our procedures efficiently. There was a little bit of a delay in receiving some of the capital asset information from your vendor, which is, I believe that the audit is normally presented a little bit earlier than the end of November, but here we are now, and everything's done. So I'd like to thank Cindy Richmond, your contracted accountant, and also Eli and all the staff here at Ann Arbor District Library for all the assistance that we received. So thank you very much for all of that. Our audit included an examination of the financial reporting process, internal controls, and also certain aspects of legal compliance. I'm pleased to report that we have no written audit findings this year and also no suggestions for improvement. So that whole consideration of internal controls, compliance, all that, when things go wrong or when things aren't like the way they're supposed to be, we end up having to communicate those sorts of issues in writing. So that is the fact that we have none of those audit findings, we have none of those suggestions for improvement. That is a very positive reflection on management of the library and the board, and it also tends to shorten my presentation. So that's good as well. So my plan for this evening is to give you some key takeaways from the audit and also to answer any questions that you have, so please interrupt me with those at any time. All right, the first page of the presentation is up on the screen there, and it discusses the independent auditor's report. The purpose of an audit is to give you an opinion on your financial statements, not to detect fraud and not to give assurance on internal control. So it's a very important concept about what it is that we're here to do. Our responsibilities are listed at the bottom of the slide. The first one being to render an opinion on your financial statements. So that's what is referenced on this slide, is our opinion on your financial statements, as well as to exercise professional judgment, identify and assess risks, and to evaluate the overall financial statement presentation. So we do all of those things. Management's responsibility is for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And also for the design and implementation of internal controls. So the internal controls are the responsibility of management, and for the timely and accurate compilation of financial data that goes into the financial statements. So as I said, this slide represents our opinion on your financial statements. We're giving what's called an unmodified or a clean opinion. That is the best opinion you can get. And it means three different things. It means, first of all, the statements are formatted in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So everything that's supposed to be in the statements is there. Also, all parties fulfilled their responsibilities. So I just spent a minute talking about our responsibilities, the library's responsibilities. Those were all fulfilled. And also, based on the procedures that we perform, the numbers are good. So unmodified opinion is what you want to see. Okay. Okay, next slide. We'll get into the balance sheet. So this is a snapshot, a picture as of a point in time, as of June 30th, 2022. This shows all of the funds of the library. So you've got your general fund, capital projects funds, and the non-major funds aggregated there. That's a couple of endowments. And let's talk about fund balance, and especially in the general fund. So in the left-hand column, third number up from the bottom, unassigned fund balance, $5,307,738. First of all, let me just back up. You can see that fund balance is broken down into different categories. So there's non-spendable, which references inventories or prepaids items there, and also the permanent corpus of your trust. And then there's restricted, and then there's assigned. So the restricted is in your expendable permanent fund, your endowment, and the assigned, that is for capital projects. But in the general fund, you've got $5.3 million in unassigned fund balance. We measure the adequacy of fund balance. So how much do we have? How much should we have? How does that compare to benchmarks and historical comparisons? So we measure that adequacy of fund balance as a percentage of annual expenditures. So Ann Arbor District Library is at about, as of June 30th, 2022, is at about 24.6% of annual expenditures. Last year was about 61%. So there's a big drop there due to the purchase of a new building and other assets. So that drove up the expenditure number, the denominator of the equation as well. But we'll talk more about that on the next page. We usually recommend a minimum of 15 to 20% fund balance for cash flow and operating purposes. So Ann Arbor District Library is just above that recommended minimum. It's also important to note that the library receives its property taxes or levies its property taxes on July 1st of every year. So June 30th pretty much represents the low point of the year in terms of the property tax calendar. So that's how that works. All right, next slide. This is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. The column format here is the same, shows how fund balance changed. I would just like to concentrate on the general fund as the primary operating fund of the library. So I'm going to sort of skip to the bottom line, which is actually the third line up from the bottom, net change in fund balance in the left-hand column, $4,444,255. That is the amount that the fund balance decreased by this year. How did we get there? On the revenue side, you can see in the left-hand column, the first total down, $18,338,536. That's up just very fractionally, $220,000 from the prior year, about 1.2%. Almost all of that, I've got a graph that's going to break this down here, but almost all of that is property taxes. And you can also see that there was a loss in terms of investment income, so that's really dragging down the rest of the revenue streams. As again, I've got a graph here to back this up here in a second. On the expenditure side, about there in the middle of the page, total expenditures $16,978,492. That's up from the prior year, about $943,000, about 5.8%. Most of that was in personnel costs, with the library returning to pre-COVID staffing levels. The other thing to point out here is you can see about 3/4 of the way down the page, there's a transfer out, $5.8 million, and that was transferred. You can see there from the general fund to the capital projects fund, and that was for the purchase of the building. So that's definitely, as you can see, without that, your fund balance would have gone up for the year. But with that transfer out, it went down. Okay. All right, next slide. Got a few graphs, and then I'm all done. So this is a 5-year comparison of revenues, expenditures, and fund balance. You can see that the revenues are trending fairly flat, especially the last couple of years. Expenditures were down in 2021, so you can see them go down from 20 to 21, but then back up. Again, the transfer out is really driving that 2021 expenditure number, and that also drives your fund balance down, as we talked about. Okay, general fund revenues. So this one and the next one are really just trying to break down some trends in revenues for you. So what this is you can see the property taxes are plotted out for 5 years, and then basically everything else is other, and that's plotted out too. And I think this is interesting because the property tax graph looks pretty normal, what you would expect. You'd expect to see it come up a little bit every year as the taxable value in the city increases incrementally each year. That doesn't surprise me, but the magnitude of the property taxes versus all of your other revenue streams is very apparent in the way this graph is put together. It really shows you how all of the other revenue streams are really dwarfed by the property taxes. So the next slide is a breakdown of expenditures. We took a similar approach to this. We took the 3 largest expenditure categories, and we mapped them out for 5 years. So you can see the personnel that has been going up, but you can see that I talked about you're returning to prior pre-COVID staffing levels. You can see that from 2020 to 2021 it was flat, which really shouldn't be in a normal scenario. So that's pretty much corrected itself. And then the purchase services, materials and supplies, those there's not much of a trend there. And in the other, you can see the transfer out in 2022 that was significant and unusual. All right, last slide talks about the governance letter. Just wanted to touch on this. It's distributed with the audit. It's a stapled letter there that's with you. It's a required communication we issue with every audit that we do, and is addressed to management and the board of directors. Most of the letter is a form letter, but communicates several significant issues related to the audit. And of course, as I referenced before, if there were any issues, they would show up in this letter. So the fact that this letter is mostly a form letter is, again, a positive reflection. So the letter discloses any estimates used in preparing financial statements, any new accounting standards, which, as Scott said, we had GASB 87 this year, which we discussed at length at the Finance Committee, which I decided not to bore you with at this level.
I can answer any questions.
Any difficulties or disagreements? Of course, we had none of those. Any misstatements we noted, which we did not. And if there were any management comments, as stated before, there were none. So if you have any questions, that's all I have.
I have a question, Alan.
Sure.
Given what's going on in the bond market, would you recommend that we should not be budgeting to receive any interest revenue, given that we can really only invest in bonds?
That's really kind of outside of my area of expertise as far in terms of returns on bonds versus stocks, but I feel like the experience that we had over the last year was probably more of an aberration than what we should expect as the new normal, but that's not an expert opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Anybody else?
All right, thank you very much, Alan.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so then we turn to page 30, and we look at a resolution to accept the 2021-2022 financial audit. The board resolves as follows. 1, to accept the 2021-2022 financial audit prepared by Yo and Yo CPAs, and 2, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I hear a motion to accept the resolution to accept the 2021-2022 financial audit?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Delighted.
Yeah, it's good news. And also, I'm appreciative of sort of the committee report and recommendation on how we should proceed in the next couple of years, given our various transitions with leadership and software and so on and so on. So thank you for that. Anything else? All right, we shall vote on this one. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, thank you. Moving right along, resolution, we have many resolutions around construction at the Parkland Plaza. Do you want to talk first and then we should move through them? How do you want to do this, Len?
Do them one at a time.
Okay.
We'll talk about the category and then have a discussion.
Great. So I believe the first resolution is on page 34?
31 to 34.
Thank you. All right. So let us know what we're looking at here.
So this one is for aluminum glazing, which is basically the framing and the glass for the storefront, which is the main entrance, and the vestibule on the inside, and then any glass we're adding between the office and the warehouse space.
Great. And what is your recommendation of the various bids?
We had 3 responses on this one. We were recommending the low bid, which is Glasgow.
Okay.
And this is another company we've worked with in the past. They did the downtown front porch, and they did the branch meeting room project.
Great. All right. So the
That would be 48,000.
48,504, yes. So the board resolves as follows to authorize O'Neill Construction to award aluminum and glazing work to Glasgow in the amount of $48,504, that the expenditure be authorized from the capital fund, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. May I hear a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Additional discussion? Questions?
Well, one thing I note from last time is that little number is the lowest for these guys, and I wondered if that came up.
It did not. It did not.
So why are they the winning bid, I guess?
From my take, I think this goes to, for my opinion, is a lot about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty local as far as a lot of their installers and the relationship we have with them. The front porch project,
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times we've called them back. They're here within a day usually, and then the low bid factor.
Yeah.
And the branch medium room projects, I mean, some of it, you all have seen them, they turned out perfect. So it's hard when you've seen someone's work to go another direction when you trust the people.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that question. Anything else? All right, then we shall vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right. You may buy glass.
Thank you.
Now we're on to doors, frames, and hardware.
Yes, and that is just as written. It is doors, frames, and hardware. This would be, your steel frame for the door jambs and the solid frame doors everywhere, and all the latches, hardware to accept our key system throughout the project.
And what is your recommendation here?
The recommendation is LaForce. It's $44,429.
And that looks to be the low bid, yes.
It is the low bid. We had 2 responses.
All right. The resolution is as follows: to authorize O'Neill Construction to award doors, frames, and hardware to LaForce in the amount of $44,429, that the expenditure be authorized from the capital fund, and that all resolutions and parts of this resolution that conflict with the provision of this resolution are rescinded. May I hear a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any additional discussion, questions? All right, then we shall vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? None. Thank you. Plumbing, my favorite.
Yes. So, plumbing on this one's pretty significant. We're building 2 office floors. We're going to keep basically what you call the wet wall, where some of the existing plumbing is, but we're also expanding what we're calling the warehouse bathroom into another restroom, so you can access it in the warehouse for any public events. You'd have 2, basically 2 restrooms right in the middle of the warehouse space. So this one, it's not a small job. There's quite a bit to do. And then we're also removing one of the walls in the office space that has some plumbing in it. So it's fairly significant. We had 2 responses for this one. Wilbur and John Darr, both very reputable companies around us. We've used Wilbur in the past, and they were also low bid.
And you are recommending Wilbur?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a pretty big swing.
Yes.
Yeah, holy cow.
It really is.
Any inkling there?
Not really.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you throw a high number on the jobs you don't want. I will say John Darr is also mostly mechanical, so I don't know much about their plumbing. I know they have multiple divisions, and this could be a case where they have a lot of work and they throw a number at it.
All right.
It happens.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are these gender neutral bathrooms?
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear through the mask.
Gender neutral bathrooms.
Oh, thank
yes.
you. Yes. Yes, and yes. All right, so the resolution is as follows: to authorize O'Neill Construction to award plumbing work to Wilbur in the amount of $79,600, that the expenditure be authorized to the capital fund, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I have a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Any opposed? None opposed. Terrific. Flooring and carpeting. Resilient flooring.
Resilient, yeah. So, flooring, carpeting throughout the whole office space. And this includes new carpet to the existing office space, because there'll be some demolition work that happens there. And then the tile flooring for the bathroom will be adding on to, and that should be it. There were 2 responses on this one, Shock Brothers and Conventional. We have worked with both. Shock Brothers installed carpet here, first floor, second floor, I think 4th floor downtown. And they were low bid by a bit. But again, it's a good union company we've worked with in the past. They've done a lot of work for us.
And who are you recommending, I'm sorry?
We were recommending Shock Brothers, and that's $51,700.
Got it. All right, so the resolution is to authorize O'Neill Construction to award resilient flooring and carpeting to Shock Brothers in the amount of $51,700, that the expenditure be authorized from the capital fund, and that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. I have a motion for this resolution.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Good work. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Last but not least, wheelchair lift at Parkland Plaza.
Yes, and this is really, to make us ADA compliant. This will not be a full-on elevator. We'll have stairs for probably most of our staff to use, but in case in the need of someone, we have someone with a need, they can access the whole building. So it's not something we want to, or need a big commercial elevator. So it's going to be more a commercial residential model, if you will. So the engineers are working on the load that it's going to need to handle. It's not going to be something you'd see in a house, but something similar to that.
Where's the lift, like, in the context of the building?
It would be in the, oh, you're killing me.
I know.
Southwest corner.
Southwest corner, but it's like that second.
Yes.
Right outside the paper vault, because there's
got it.
stairs that go up
That's
right
what-
along the paper vault, and there's this wheelchair lift is right next to the stairs.
Okay.
And it's really only for a single person
Yes.
to move between the first and second floor. We do have a doorway on the second floor into warehouse volume. So when we need to put heavy things up there, we can put them up there with a forklift. We don't need to use, this elevator is solely for accessibility.
Yes, for
And
people in the car.
And we don't expect that area to be an area that would be heavily trafficked by the public?
Almost never.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this a lift that someone could also use, not in a wheelchair? Just
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone with mobility.
Yeah.
It's most similar, if you remember the weird little lift at Zingerman's next door. It's kind of similar to that, where it's almost like a closet that moves up and down.
I used to have to help people use that. So hopefully this will be slightly simpler than that, I guess.
All right, we have one bid to authorize O'Neill Construction to award wheelchair lift installation to A4 Access in the amount of $49,163, that the expenditure be authorized from the capital fund, and that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. May I hear a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I just see this little note that says concerns with ease of access and movability with entry So is that their comment back to us that like,
Yes, that's whatever questions they have, they'll need addressed through our architect and our team to make sure whatever their concern is, we'll have to take care of that.
And I think what they're talking about here is we could conceivably wind up needing to rotate it 90 degrees
Okay.
before it's installed.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Anything else? All right then. All in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? Terrific. Thank you all. Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks.
Go ye and build. One bit at a time. Well, it's hard to say goodbye to dear colleagues, but we're going to do it anyway in the form of some resolutions. We have this evening farewells for two of our colleagues, Dharma Ackman and Kareen Moore, who will be leaving the board at the end of our term, at the end of the calendar year. Both have been extraordinary board colleagues. In particular, I'll just say incredible colleagues to work with on the search for a new executive director, which was a intense and important process that yielded I think we can say, very good result.
I'm glad you think so.
But I'm really grateful to Kareen and Dharma personally for working really closely with me this past, year plus on that project, and just being really terrific board members. We have two resolutions. Would anyone care to read? We have first for Dharma.
I'll do Dharma's.
Thank you.
The board resolves as follows, that the Ann Arbor District Library Board would like to officially thank Dharma Ackman for her outstanding service as an Ann Arbor District Library Board trustee and her service as vice president and treasurer of the board. That the Ann Arbor District Library Board would like to recognize Dharma Ackman for her dedication, leadership, and commitment to the library, community, and staff. That all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded.
Can I hear a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. May we discuss you now? Well, we're really proud of you for winning your city council election, and we're just dying to see what you'll do over there in this wonderful new, very high-profile council member role that you're already taking on. So congratulations for that.
I just really appreciate the calm confidence that you've exhibited from the first moment that you stepped on the scene. I remember meeting you at the event that we do in the summer when people are interested in running, that you came to that, and a lot of people, myself included, have kind of teamed up with others, but you kind of went out on your own and just seemed confident that this is the thing that you wanted to do, and you exhibited that throughout your service, just always so calm. And so in times sometimes when I would be much more blustery or flustered about something, and I think that'll serve you really well in city council, where things get a little bit more blustery than they do in here typically. But yeah, you're just an incredible colleague, and I'm excited for your next thing.
Yeah, I'll say that as one of the newer members of the board, this board has been so wonderful to step into, and you and Kareen, I'm getting ahead of the agenda, but both of you have been a part of that, and it's just been really easy to kind of join this team of people because the camaraderie and the respect and just the general positivity of this group has been really wonderful to join, and you were a part of that.
We don't all have to talk, but
Can I add something?
Yes, you may.
So,
please.
It's not always necessarily good news to a library staff when a librarian announces their candidacy for the library board. But I was so delighted when Dharma announced her candidacy. I already knew her a little bit from in town and campus stuff, and you were just such an outstanding board member, so supportive and knowledgeable, and as Jamie said, calm. And it's been a joy to work with you, and we really wish you the best. And it will be such a benefit to the community and to the library to have an ally like you on council. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Shall we vote on this resolution? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. I don't think there are any opposed. You've been resolved. Thank you for your leadership and also for being a great community leader, not only a library board trustee, but someone who's just outstanding leader in our Ann Arbor community. Yes, we will miss you too. All right. Next up, resolution of appreciation to Corrine Moore. I'll read this one. The Ann Arbor District Library would like to officially thank S. Corrine Moore for 4 years of outstanding service as an Ann Arbor District Library Board Trustee and her service as Vice President and Secretary of the Board. That the Ann Arbor District Library Board would like to recognize S. Corrine Moore for her dedication, leadership, and commitment to the library, community, and staff, and that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I hear a motion for this resolution?
So moved. Seconded.
Wonderful. Discussion.
Corrine.
Corrine.
You can't be leaving us. I'm so grateful for your perspective so often. And like I've mentioned this to you privately, but I really I hope to channel you in your absence, because so often you'll bring something up and I'll think like, oh, that is such a good point, and like we are not talking about that at all. Like that happens a lot, and so your presence is going to be sorely missed. And also, I just want to recognize that you had an amazing campaign. I think that like it was both of you really like just went for it on your own, and like I think demonstrated your commitment to this institution like from the very first minute, and it was really cool to see your enthusiasm coming onto the board, and I'm really sad to see you go, but I'm excited for whatever you end up doing next. I know that you are not done with community and public service.
I am not done.
Yes, thank you. And I will just reiterate, support as an executive committee this year through transition, through searching and change has just been unparalleled. And I appreciate your straightforward and calm temperament. We're losing all of our calm. What's going to happen to us? And it's also been a privilege to serve on a board with another out LGBTQ community member. So thank you for that. It's becoming a less queer board, unfortunately.
Oh.
But I'll do my best to the
shame.
but thank you, really, truly. Shall we vote?
Can I just add? Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Corrine, you've been so helpful to the library and to Josie and to me. It's not just your perspective, but your knowledge and awareness of the local political situations and sound guidance through some very challenging situations. And it's not always the case that administration can turn to a single board member and get excellent direction on how to handle a tricky situation. I've learned a lot from working with you, and I hope we'll still be able to call you when we need you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. I would also say too that there's just a tremendous amount of you suggested some policy changes that really were reflective of our walking the walk on sort of social justice and equity in the context of how we operate our libraries, and I just feel enormously grateful for that, and also just for the example that you set, and how, policy is really where the rubber meets the road. It's how people get treated. And it's so important, and it's also like really hard to wrap your head around sometimes. So I just hope that, you had a very lasting impact in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So stay close. All in favor of this resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? It's weird because you're a board member, you have to vote for yourself.
I won't even abstain.
No abstentions.
Thank you both. Thanks for letting us give you a hurrah. The last kind of agenda item or a little bit of business is to vote on canceling our regular December 20th AADL board meeting. Do you have anything to add as to why we will cancel it?
There's no particular business coming up. This was the last bunch of bids that we needed to get approved. Everything else will be below the organization's approval threshold. So we're in a good shape as far as that goes. And we have not typically needed a December board meeting, and this year is no different. So we're in good shape. Thank you all.
Terrific. Okay. May I hear a motion to cancel the regular December 20, 2022 AADL board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I know this is more germane to like the end of the year generally.
Yeah.
But like, I really want to thank you all for like being the the least drama board I have ever served on in my entire life. It has been such a pleasure. So easy to work with you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I second that sentiment.
I will third that especially as a relatively new board member. Appreciate both Dharma and Kareen and Jim and everybody else for making it easy on us newbies, especially with a pretty big and involved year, and you all did the heavy lifting, and I definitely appreciate all that work.
Yeah. Thank you. I also think, after having been on the campaign trail this year and people were asking, what's going on at the library? And I was like, the library is great. It's like going very well. We have great trustees. We're getting a lot done, and the staff is outstanding under the leadership of a really special person. So there's a lot of good stuff happening here, and everyone can be proud of that. And if we vote yes on this resolution, this will be the last meeting that I have to run as president for a while. All right, all in favor of canceling the December 20th meeting, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? None. All right, any citizens' comments?
Nothing online either.
Well, everyone, we did it. 2022 is officially over for the AADL board, and congratulations to all, and we'll see you in 2023. Take care.